Eric, we're going to have our first harvest of our pepper crop tomorrow. And in the field here you can see at this particular stage a comparison of the different three of the major treatments that we have out here. For example, these plots here in front of me are peppers that are growing with the standard IFAS recommended fertilizer practice, with 20% of the nitrogen in the bed at planting incorporated in the bed, and the remaining 80% injected through the season in biweekly amounts. To the left of me, you can see what happens when we omit nitrogen fertilizer from a vegetable crop. These pepper plants are very, very small and will not yield very many peppers, and the ones that do produce will be very small and poor color. Now, to the right of you is one of the controlled release treatments, and maybe you want to explain what we're looking at.
Well, this controlled release treatment got all of its nitrogen pre-plant during the bedding process, so there was no fertigation at all in this plot. And when we look at N rates, one of the treatments we're looking at in this study is reduced N rate. This particular treatment has a total N rate of 170 pounds of nitrogen per acre, whereas this IFAS plot has a rate of 200 pounds of N per acre. And I think if you look at these two plots, you see that really it's hard to discern any differences between the two. And if we look at the peppers here, the fruit, we see we have some pretty good sized peppers in there growing with the controlled release treatment. We have several of these different controlled release fertilizer treatments in this study. Some of them are coated urea, and some of them are complete homogeneous coated NPK fertilizers. And that's for a reason, but essentially all of our treatments, we're balancing some of the nitrogen with soluble. For instance, some of our treatments have 20% of the nitrogen as soluble nitrogen pre-plant, and the rest is from controlled release. Some of them have all controlled release nitrogen in them. But in essence, in comparing with the IFAS program, we're balancing the phosphorus and potassium in these plots with soluble sources. So we're in essence putting all of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in the bed at planting or at the bed up stage.
So the nutritional difference between the controlled release treatment and the IFAS fertigated program, the only difference nutritionally is the difference between the nitrogen rate here, because each plot has received the same amount of phosphorus and potassium according to the soil test.
The difference here really is just this has 30 pounds less nitrogen than the IFAS treatment here.
So we're at first harvest today for the peppers in our nitrogen research plots. These particular pepper fruits here came from the plots that received no nitrogen fertilizer. First thing you see is the small size. They should be at least as big as my fist or bigger to be marketable at this stage. And you also see the light green color. We can contrast those peppers from typical peppers that are coming at first harvest off of the plots that received the 200 pounds per acre of nitrogen fertilizer. You can see the bigger size. These are typical peppers from those plots that received fertilizer. And you see the darker green color. And you contrast that with the size and the light green color from the plots that did not receive nitrogen fertilizer. Just illustrating the importance of nitrogen fertilizer for optimal pepper fruit size, yield, and quality.